Good evening, everybody in general. My name is America Phillips. I live in Pemberton Township for most, before I will be 45 years in November. In the same place. And I didn't check to see what is going on tonight in this meeting. I recall in the past, hardly was anybody in this room. Why? Because nothing was going on and they were important to them. Right now, they being bombarded in their town, and that's the reason everybody is here. And we are fighting for our rights. We are taxpayers, and we have the right to know what is going on. I got 3 questions in here. I don't have a computer. I found it out all my information when I come in here to the horse's mouth. I want to know 201-2024. Autorizar la execución y concede site-specific treatment work approval and for Route 206. Can you tell me where that gotta go, the water? Are we supplying the water to the warehouses? Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a good idea. Number 2, I live in Presidential Lake. Guess what? We got world water there. And this developer coming up on Paul Bridge Road, and they stated they're not going to use their water. When most 60 houses in Presidential Lake came and were built, the last development, my water table went down. According to the engineer, when I attended the planning board meeting, they stated it's not going to affect. Baloney, don't believe these people. They don't live here. They don't get water from the well every day. Number 2, I want to know, since we are so poor in here right now, police coverage number 1, firefighter coverage number 2, EMT number 3. You want to bring all this development in here. You fixing their Lakers Road, fixing their water and everything in there for them. Why are we doing this for these people? They are on the Pine Lane. How can they just go? Who was the one approved that development? Well, somebody did, because there is 2 things I learned attending the planning board meetings. Council used to tell me, they do that. I go to the planning board tell me council is doing that. They pass the bar around, one plane to each other. That's the reason I attend all those meetings. I want to know what is going on. Okay, now you want an approved tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. You want an approved tonight, or you want to approve, and I hope doesn't go through going up in the 206 from the warehouses. We do not need warehouses, okay? You bombard Pemberton Township, thinking that you might make millions in here. People don't believe them. They playing game with you. If you don't fight for your right, guess what? It is true. I'm here now for which party I belong to. As a citizen of this country, being a citizen for 57 years, I had a right to fight my rights. I don't have sides. If I want to find that I was brown, guess what? I'm going to go in and ask you. My question right now to the council, if you want to approve these houses, this development, who's going to cover those developments with the police department? Who's going to cover with the firefighter? I was a firefighter in the field, and I'm going to be honest with you. The youth thinker, cannabis business, I was told, God forbid something happened in the cannabis business building, our police got it right away to one. Our fire department got it one there. But guess what? If I was a firefighter myself, hell with you people. I'm taking care of my people beside. I want to know what this emergency meeting tonight. Can anybody explain to me why this emergency meeting is tonight? I want to know for somebody here. Please tell me. They could not wait until next week? Okay? You, Mr. President, or the solicitor, whatever, everybody getting paid for.
Who could be this?
She didn't ask who did it.
Okay, Mr. President from the council. Now, can you tell me, Mr. Dietrich?
I said, it was my idea to have
When somebody
Who
signed
did?
it, somebody did
110
something in
degrees.
here, we didn't just come from the office.
110.
Somebody did.
Ask the boss.
Please tell me.
Does anybody know who called this?
Was you.
Mr. Hornicle, for this meeting, you?
Yes, I requested.
Shocked.
I thought Dan Dewey called.
She's too embarrassed to admit it.
Why?
Well, then why didn't you
didn't
speak
get
up
a
right away?
wait until next
She's there for a
Wednesday?
minute asking.
That's my question. Why is so important for that these people are so desperate? that
Let
they
him
need to
answer.
know?
Let him answer. What's the urgency? Let him answer. What's the urgency?
I just
Are you
want
gonna
to know.
answer?
You gonna answer what the urgency is?
I can only boss.
Mr. Hornicle, do you wish to respond to that?
Why not? Why not? We just wanna know what the urgency is.
Okay, I guess I got it from the grapevine or whatever.
Like Liz calling it as an orchestra.
I will be here next Wednesday, don't worry about it, and I'll be here on the other side, of the bridge.
Huh?
Resident for 52 years, since some of the people have talked about how long they've been a resident. My name's Claudia Stewart, I didn't sign in. I apologize for forgetting to announce it. I was focused on signing in. That's the agenda, I folded up in my pocket. I haven't been able to come to meetings quite frequently over the last year or two, either due to illness or I watch my grandson on Wednesday nights and I have to get him back at a certain time, so I can't. We do dinner, and now in the summer, he's every other week and I don't have him every Wednesday, so here I am. So I'm thankful for this meeting because I get to address you and let you know what my concerns are. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who did serve in the armed services that is in this room. Second of all, I just can't imagine what drives so many people from outside of Pemberton to come in and talk to you tonight. And Mr. Dewey and Mr. Gardner, anybody who's not from Pemberton, I wish you would disregard their hands when they raise their hands, because they're not who you're working for. You're working for the
Excuse me?
people of Pemberton.
No.
And
You're
I
very
want to say
important.
that when I'm
We wanna
asked
hear
to
what you
say,
have to say.
Ms. Foreman, nobody interrupted you, please.
Okay, I'm
let
sorry.
Ms. Stewart. Go ahead.
But not really.
okay, I just want to say it's hard to answer a direct, am I in favor of housing, am I not in favor of housing? Well, I actually like the Greenberg plan. I sat on the planning board for 6 months. I was there when we were approving it. Also sitting on the planning board, I know that there's laws that we have to follow. People can't just tell you who you can and cannot sell to. And people need to recognize that, because you don't want anybody to tell you when you're ready to sell who you can and cannot sell to. I think that, you can slow things down as much as you can, but to call a moratorium, I think, just raises a lot of red flags. I also wanted to mention the fact that the person who's really in charge of this building is absent. And this council requested their resignation, and that still has not happened. And I think that the turmoil in this building is just an evidence of the fact that that person is not willing to step down. And some of the things that have been talked about tonight really are his purview, and he's not even here to speak to it. So I'm kind of disappointed that he's a no-show. As far as the dispensaries, I think, other people are making the dollars off of that. I think Pemberton needs to make the dollars off of that. So I am in favor of the dispensaries. As far as the warehouses go, I think the one on 206 is the one that we should have been building, and the one that's by Birmingham probably shouldn't have been. And that predated my very short time in the planning board. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts. I appreciate the work that you do, having sat on the planning board and had to listen to public comments. I understand that. I also just want to tell people, there is on the agenda a paragraph that says that people don't have to answer your questions. They're not obligated to. So I appreciate everybody who did give answers to questions tonight. And you have a very difficult thing to do here, but like I say, I really encourage the Greenberg property. The information that I got on the planning board, they were the most professional, complete presentations that I saw the 6 months that I sat there. As far as that development out next to Country Lakes, we didn't allow it to be built before, and I don't think that we need to have it developed again. It is a sanctuary, it is Pinelands Preservation Area, and I'm not sure that that's the best use of that land. And I was here very regularly the first time around when they tried to develop it, planning board and the council. So I thank you for your time, and hopefully you'll think about everything that was said here tonight and make your decisions based on that.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience who close the public comment portion? Moving on to resolutions. Resolution 201-2024 authorizes the execution of a consent for site-specific treatment works approval for 2554 Route 206. Mr. Hornicle, would you lay out what that is? And if you know, what's the status of that project?
So, 201 and 202 are for the Rockefeller warehouse projects. We have a contract, redevelopment agreement, the contract with Rockefeller warehouses to cooperate with them. They are looking to connect these two locations to the Mount Holly MUA sewage collection system. They are in the Mount Holly MUA sewer service area.
That just has to do with their sewer, right, not their water?
Nobody's providing them water. They are putting on-site wells for water and fire suppression.
So this resolution authorizes them to hook up to Mount Holly sewer system?
Correct. This resolution would authorize the mayor or designee to sign the treatment works approval, which needs to be filed with the DEP to enable these two projects to connect to the Mount Holly MUA sewer system.
What happens if this is not signed? What are the implications?
I think Mr. Casty would probably be better at addressing that.
Well, if not signed, we won't be able to put sewer to the project, and I don't know whose obligation.
Could you speak up a little bit?
Sure.
Thank you.
If we don't approve this, allowing the sewer to go to the adjoining town, then presumably this project won't get sewer. And I don't know what the ramifications are in terms of any approvals that are granted.
That would be a breach of our contract, our redevelopment agreement.
Are you a licensed attorney and practice in this state?
Could they then put in a septic system?
That would be their alternative.
It would be allowed by the DEP and or the Board of Health.
It would be or would not be?
I don't know, that would be up to the DEP and the Board of Health.
Oh, that's their problem.
Another hurdle we need to see. Not in our ordinance.
That's right.
Ms. McCarthy, do you have a comment?
Yes.
Elizabeth, you need to unmute yourself.
Ms. McCarthy, you have the floor.
I'm here, darn it, I forgot what I was gonna say, hold on, give me 1 minute here. I know my question, okay, so if we were to approve this, what would the cost of the township be to, have this done?
So in this particular instance, other than having the engineers review this, the township has no other cost, but I would indicate that the cost of our engineers having to review the treatment works approval, plans and documentation is covered by an escrow posted by the Rockefeller Group for that very purpose.
Okay, so ballpark figure, how much is it costing the township for, if we approve this?
It might cost the engineers to do the work on our behalf, maybe $500 to $1,000 to review the application. That's about it.
I would suggest that if that were to be the case, whatever costs would be incurred by the town should be put over onto the developer. This is his idea and for his benefit.
Correct, that's what our contract provides for.
Yeah. So presumably, there shouldn't be any net expense to the township.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Arnold, I know this township is covered by the JIF as far as insurance, and, you know, we have a couple of pending lawsuits. Mr. JIF will pay, you know, if that's coming to that township, because I'm responsible for what happened. However, with these contracts, breach of contract possibility, if we are sued, it will not come from the JIF, it will come from the township, budget, right?
Correct, the JIF does not cover
That's not correct.
actions like this.
Okay.
This is incorrect. Mr. Solicitor, could you correct him, please?
He's correct. How
No,
should we
he's not
him?
correct.
JIF.
You can interpret that way, but I doubt that's gonna happen. I've dealt with the JIF many a times.
Thank you.
Council President, if I could hop in here,
Please.
because, man, I think as the most people that came up to the podium, in the past year and a half, 2 years that me and Danny have been here, so, the comments are heard. My issue with both 201 and 202 are thus, right? So, back in October, I believe it was, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, it was October and November, the area need a redevelopment agreement was put up, it was almost killed. I'll use a different word, was almost not taken care of, okay? And then we were told that 2 300-year-old farmhouses would be torn down if we didn't improve the area need a redevelopment, or the development agreement for these 2 properties. So I don't think I'm telling a farce yet, that's what happened. Then I went to a planning board meeting that the Rockefellers were discussing the 2 farmhouses in question. And I'll start calling like Mr. Dewey, Mitsubishi, because that's who they are, okay? And whether you're for redevelopment or you're not for redevelopment, or you're for the warehouses, or you're not for the warehouses, that's not my concern. My concern is that they too violated the agreement, and that's the truth as well. Because as per the 206 redevelopment agreement, which I believe would in turn, and the solicitor could correct me, called for the township to receive 2 acres of property. Am I correct yet? Am I wrong yet, Mr. Dewey? 2 acres of property around each 300-year-old farmhouse. I sat through a planning board meeting, and they were telling the township that we were only getting 3,000 square feet. So they too are in violation of the redevelopment agreement. So I take issue with that. These people come in, they push the towns around until they get what they want, and they build it. And then we can't do anything about it. I agree with everybody out here in the audience about the farmland. I want to say, I definitely agree with Mr. Thomas and what he always has to say, and I appreciate him for that. Everybody that's here, that's not from the township, I greatly respect your voice and your opinion at these meetings, because that means that our voices are being heard beyond our boundaries. And we appreciate our neighbors' help. Thank you very much. The other thing is, in regards to the redevelopment agreements, I know firsthand, and I wasn't here for it, and yes, somebody had said that. That's why I came up here. That's why I decided to come up and serve. And I agree with that statement. You know, the CADC, the County Agricultural Development Board, was told to stay away from the township. And that's confirmed by what the other Mr. Howland had to say earlier, was that the township wouldn't put up their portion of the Farmland Protection Act. And then the government, the federal government, thank God for the base, has an alternate plan for grants and steps in and supplies that money when they have it. So that is true. So therefore, I do agree with Mr. Dewey, albeit I'm not as highly vocal as it may be, but I would never tell anybody, my colleagues or otherwise, what to say and what not to say. But I can tell you this much is for sure. I ran 1.5 years ago alongside Mr. Dewey and the mayor, and our sign said no more warehouses. And I will do my due diligence to hold that promise. I also don't agree with our sewage going to Mount Holly, but that's unfortunately the only way it can go, because the Allen farms are protected, and you come up to what Mr. Thomas talked about, the Rancocas Conservancy and everything else, and it's very difficult to get the sewage to go the other way. I'm sure for other reasons as well. And I sat up here and argued this in October, or I believe it was November, about the environmental impacts that these warehouses would cause to our township on that side of town. And no, there's not a lot of people out there. I believe about 500 constituents on the west end of town, if I'm not mistaken. But we need to look out for everyone. So therefore, my answer to both these tonight will be no.
Mr. Dewey.
Josh, one thing, maybe you can back me up here. What was it, 5 years ago, there was a letter that came out of this building to the Burlington County Farm Bureau stating, do not preserve any farmland in Pemberton Township.
That is true.
And that's when the ball started rolling. But it came out of this building. And that's why we lost farms, because the county was ready to preserve farms and they were told not to. And I am a no too.
Thank you.
It was mentioned earlier, and even now, that there's grants to apply for, which are great. But any municipality, school district, and plan their budget to have their budget by grants every year, that's a failure right there, because grants are not forever. Tax revenues are forever.
No, they're not.
You wanna say good things?
About
forever. People
What's he
that
talking
live here.
about? He doesn't know.
Ms. McCartney, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody's concerns. I mean, really, we should be proud of ourselves for loving our town as much as we do, all of us that are here tonight, honestly. But I have a big question, and then I wanna focus on the resolution so we could, settle them. But the big question, and I hear, we have to stop the development of the warehouses. And I know we've had this discussion discussion. And we changed a resolution to make limitations on further growth. So Mr. Hornicle, can you just kind of confirm with me? We had a discussion about not wanting to have any further development of warehouses, and didn't we set limitations to that for future building? And that this particular project with Rockefeller was something that was already in the till?
All that is correct. I would just say probably last June is when Councilman Ward brought the idea to do the study for the warehouses, and then council followed through with that study, and then in January of this year, council adopted an ordinance to limit future warehouses in Pemberton Township. That's correct.
Yeah, I do agree with, you know, we have to have a limit to it. We have to stop. There is beauty in our town. I support that, but you know, we have already this one is already something we contracted to. So let me go back to the resolution. Mr. Hornicle, we have a contract agreement with Rockefeller, and these resolutions are related to the expense of the engineers planning this sewage connection, and the cost of that, if you could just give me again that number.
So the applicant themselves, the Rockefellers, have their own engineers who prepared all of these plans, including the treatment works approval application. Our engineers merely review that, confirm that those plans are acceptable, and that cost is probably $500 to $1,000 per parcel, which is reimbursed from an escrow posted by the developers.
Okay, so just, I'm sorry for asking again. So when we look at resolution 201 and 202, are you saying to us that if we approve these, it will cost us between $500 to $1,000? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, but that'll be all reimbursed by the developer.
Okay, so my last question is, was that something that was in the contract agreement in the beginning?
Yes, we do, it's in the contract.
Oh, so the concern is if we say no, it's part of the contract, then what would they do? What could they do?
I have to defer to Jerry, but they could sue us for breach of contract or giving you property.
Apparently, this is an agreement that was reached, I think, in 21. If you've agreed to provide sewer services to them and you do something intentionally to block that, you're in breach of the contract, and I'm sure that there are penalty provisions for a violation.
Okay, I respect my fellow council, and I appreciate the residents, and I definitely don't want to see any further development, but I think it's gonna cost us a lot more money if we breach our contract at this point, but moving forward, I don't want to have more warehouses, so I'm just letting my fellow council people know that I will be saying yes to these two.
Then vote no for your people.
Vote no.
Vote no.
Vote no. Who's gonna vote yes?
I just want to make, as I understand, these warehouses have their approval.
All 13 are gonna go.
They have various agreements signed by the township itself. If we went back 10 years, whatever period of time, and somebody came to me and said, hey, would you like to have warehouses in Birmingham and all of them down 206 and North Pemberton Road? I think I probably would have said, no. I would have said no.
So say no now.
The problem is this,
No problem.
we're here now.
Then vote
The
no.
situation is as it is now.
Just say no.
Then you care about your people.
They violated first, and you're ignoring it.
You're elected by your people and you're supposed to represent them,
That's right.
not yourself.
You have
Not a
to
word about
consider us.
Josh's violations,
It's the
right?
law.
Not a
And I'm
word.
gonna do what I think is in the best interest of the township.
What about
You
What
have
about the people that live here? Do you not
You
care?
have to consider.
I know you sit in your throne up
They
there.
can come up here and they can do what they think is best for the council.
Well, then
While
step
I'm
down,
here,
as I know there's lots of people that
Then
will love to
resign.
do
Why
it.
don't you breach them for the
Resign right
violations
now.
Jack was talking about. Breach them.
Then resign.
Plain and simple. Nobody had a word to rebut what he said. Nobody.
You don't wanna live in this
Not
town.
even your hornicle.
Once you go against your people,
If
that's
they
not a
did
place
that,
you wanna
I
be.
think-
If
I used to be a lawyer.
You're supposed to have some ethics
and
up
go
there.
figure, you're on the same side.
So you should know better.
Do I get to say anything?
Two lawyers
No.
right there, you can go right.
We already know what you're
You
gonna
are
say.
the voice of these people.
We already know.
He said there are these contracts.
This is a joke. Talk about orchestrated. This is orchestrated. The questions she's asking from California were told by him to
And
ask.
she's not
I'm
here,
sure.
I think it's
To get
improper
it all
for
on the
her to
record.
vote at all.
I agree with that.
Don't look at me funny. You know you did.
Would you have a
This
phone
is
call
all
with
squared
Elizabeth
away.
before the meeting?
He just threw the word out at us.
Emails.
I can't see her. How do we even know that's her? Who's verifying that? Yeah, good question.
It is Miss McCartney, I can see her. How do you know I'm here?
They have Zoom. Well, you're here. She's not physically present. I think that violates the Robert's rules.
It was planned.
Yes, Robert.
They made sure she was available. Hornet will call the meeting.
I was just gonna say, it appears there's gonna be a warehouse, and I wanna make it the best I can for Pemberton Township. That's-
Or say no.
We're pretending you care about your
We've been
constituents.
sued before and we got over it. We've been sued before and we've gotten past it.
Well, calculate what the loss to the property owner would be for the loss of the sale.
You don't know that for sure. Nobody knows for sure they're gonna sue us. Nobody knows for sure.
I can't remember.
Have a backbone.
He was
Stand
just
behind
asking
your
his
resident.
own septic, that's all. You got two men that are not scared to say no.
Yeah.
Can the mayor vote from
Say no.
Can't you be brave and courageous and care about the residents?
You answered your own question. Scared of what? Exactly. Just say no.
So scared.
Why would I do that and hurt Pemberton Township?
How are you hurting?
How are you hurting? We're the people, fella.
They live here. They are the people.
It's gonna fall on us.
We're Pemberton Township. How many? We are Pemberton. How many years has Pemberton Township been here with no warehouses? Huh? They just started popping up, right? Warehouses all of a sudden. Now
The
you
next
got-
ordinance will be how much for their tax abatement.
You gotta follow what everybody else is doing. So when we got abandoned warehouses, we're turning into tennis courts and pickleball courts. You can't put nobody else tonight. Can we come back another 2 weeks later and say, try to
I've got these warehouses.
like you did tonight?
You can ask.
You got turned down. They got turned down 2 weeks ago. Now you got it back here.
The next ordinance to be passed is gonna be asking for their 5-year tax abatement, which we said was no longer here, but that was, of course, lawyer wording at the present time, until he asks for another one. We probably already worked it in the deal.
The man brought up he wants an investigation against Warnicle. Nobody said nothing about that.
No, I'm wondering how much more.
What happened to the investigation?
When is that?
What's he getting there?
You need to table all of this until the investigation is done, like he said to
I
do.
appreciate it. Comment.
You don't appreciate it.
You don't appreciate anything.
Can we appeal your decision? Can we appeal your decision?
Mr. Dewey,
Why don't you resign?
I told
give it
you.
a time.
You gotta appeal.
Yeah, that's really funny to laugh at these people's pain and anguish while you sit up there.
It's a joke to you.
Listen,
We're in pain.
All right, I just want to tell you something. Look at it. In today's standards, whoever owns a farm would get more money from the county, the state, and the federal government than they will from any developer,
Yes. Wow.
okay? And had that letter not been sent to the county, these farms could have been preserved.
Yep.
And the federal government, North Pemberton Road and all them, being so close to the base, there's a lot of money. Because they're trying to keep certain people out. These farmers would have got paid big bucks, still owned the property, and could have leased it out and made money every year, which would have paid their taxes. And we would have still had the ground. But when they pulled this shenanigans with the letter to the county, I don't know who all the players were, but they shopped these farms. It was shopped. And I'm just telling you, it's sinful what they did.
That's right.
And that's why there should be an investigation.
That's right.
Amen. Be investigated too.
You're
Lock
here.
them all up.
Why don't you table it? Stewie, can you table it?
Make the motion.
Can you table it, Stewie?
Mr. McCartney, you have a comment?
Make the motion, table it.
I think you're muted, Mr. McCartney.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we said that if we voted yes to the resolution, that it would cost us about.
We know where you
Per
lie.
lot, per lot.
Per lot. Okay,
Per
so what's the
parcel.
bottom line for that then?
How many parcels is it? Anybody know? You should know before you vote. How many parcels?
How many lots is it?
It's two connections.
How many parcels?
Yeah, so
How many
five
parcels?
510,000 times how many?
Two connections, that's it.
How many
You
parcels?
said per parcel, not per connection.
102,000 times two, that's it.
There's only two parcels?
Okay, so my question is, what would it
that
cost the
true, Mom?
township if we say no?
You don't even know.
I can
Zero.
only say hypothetically that if I had a crystal ball, the developer is gonna sue the township for the cost incurred in not only engineering, the money they spent in engineering to get the treatment works approval through the Mount Holly MUA, but they will also sue the township, most likely, for the cost to redesign on-site septic system. And the only people that will make out, besides the engineers, are the lawyers.
And you know that for a fact? You know that for a fact?
Yeah.
We don't know if he's telling us the truth.
Hundreds of thousands.
This guy does nothing but lie. Why would he
He knows that for a fact?
He's not a, this guy is not a lawyer.
Okay.
He talks a lot of shit.
I know Dietrich's a lawyer. Dietrich's a lawyer.
$165,000 a year, do what a lawyer does, find a loophole. You hear the people, find a loophole.
Do something to try to
Do
stop
your
it.
job.
We got them a week, 2 weeks ago, now it's run it back on the table, for it's to. They're all gonna go yes. You wait. Yeses. They're all gonna wait, yeah, you wait.
Across the board.
You guys want to do the plans in here for these two? Read all the paperwork on these sewer lines.
Danny, I can't hear you.
How are they gonna go from the saddle shop to Wood Lane Road without crossing the creek? And it says in here that they're not gonna cross the creek.
We should know that before you vote.
Sir, I can't answer that question. Your engineer has approved these proposed
Yeah, but they're
plans.
saying that they don't have to, so I was just trying to figure out how they're gonna get where they're going.
You should know it before you vote. You should know these facts before you vote.
We should know.
We should know too. Very good, Vern. That was very good.
The public should kill this meeting.
Yeah.
Everyone start clapping, kill this meeting, because this is fraud.
Table it. 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 Table it.
Let your voice be heard. If the recordings can't continue on, they can't continue this meeting.
I have never seen such opposition against the township in my life.
They just love us.
Just because you're getting voted out doesn't mean you have to destroy this town on your way out.
Just step down.
They're all leaving.
Got 6 months left, let's see how long
Yes, I second the motion.
Wait, who said that? I'm not sure. I didn't
Elizabeth.
hear.
Yeah, we didn't hear that.
What was that? What was that? No, we can't hear. What was that?
Miss McCartney seconded the motion.
I can't hear her clearly. Are you sure that's her? Why can't we see her on the
It's been
screen?
moved and seconded.
Gee, I'll bet it's 3-2.
Gee, I wonder which three it'll be.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Wow, you're a big man up there, aren't you?
Mr. Julian?
Very impressive.
No.
Mr. Ward?
No.
Mr. Dietrich?
Yes.
Corruption and fail.
Wasting people's time. Their pride.
Just pass the other
You need to all wasting people's time.
I will bring every person I can to every meeting for the rest of the term.
You're a waste.
Get your head out your ass.
Yes, we can't wait for November. I will do everything I can against you people. And I can't wait till you don't have a job, because you shouldn't work anywhere. That's what I'm saying. You make me sick.
Why everybody's Starbucks with your payout? I hope. Have security walk out with you, okay? Mommy, come on. You sure? Sometimes I don't trust.
How are they still gonna run that pipeline over the creek?
They're not. They're
They
gonna
never got an answer to
They
that.
don't leak. You will have another issue.
Stop over here from.
You get plenty of call up, sir.
You should know that. Before they go. They don't want people to show up. They're already coming with the votes in their pocket, wasting people's precious time. You don't know what for the military, you don't have your family. None of them live in assholes.
Okay, the next resolution on the agenda is 202, 2024.
Doesn't work. They deleted stuff off the page.
Yes, and it doesn't work. We've been technical difficulties.
Okay, is there a vote regarding 202,
I got one more.
2024?
I got 4.
For not
I
having.
said it's open to the public, open access, so.
So what are you saying, if they don't have the video? I have a letter saying they didn't have.
I make a motion to approve resolution 202, 2024.
That's a lot.
Second the motion.
You're stupid.
Yes.
Mrs. Carney? Yes.
She's probably getting paid. No.
Mr. Ward?
No.
I think they're actually gonna cost us
Mr. DJ?
Yes.
Really?
Resolution 203, 2024. There's a master redevelopment agreement with PDC Northeast LPIV LLC and PDC Northeast LPIV JHIM LLC as redevelopers for Block 778, Block 3, and Block 779, Blocks 6.01, 6.03, and 6.04.
There's nothing going on.
Good.
Any comments regarding the resolution?
Yeah, I have one.
Mr. Dewey.
This shouldn't even be entertained until it goes through the AAC. It never was given this, that's why we formed that committee. And it shouldn't be even discussed till it goes through the committee.
Mr. Dewey?
Sorry.
Ward?
I got, no, I would have to agree with Mr. Dewey. I know Mr. Hornicle, I asked for that before. I know they're an advisory committee by name only, but did we get anything to the president of the AAC in regards to this?
I was under the impression they were an advisory committee to the planning board, so no, I did not send it to them.
The other thing, I know it's not a pilot, but I didn't know anything about a tax break. And to me, that's not gonna fly with me either, so.
We have a 5-year tax exemption and abatement program on the books that's available to every property owner in the township of Pemberton. So people that are, like some of our local builders, they build homes, it's an incentive when they sell the homes to people moving into them.
Mr. Warner, we're doing these deals, we're giving our farms away to these outsiders to build warehouses. Wouldn't, like, when you're sitting down with these guys, you know, we need fire trucks. And the reason that we need a lot of fire trucks is because of warehouses. When you sit down with them, why don't you say, why don't you give us $250,000, $300,000 worth of fire trucks if you want this deal?
Mr. Dewey, I resent your comment that I'm somehow giving farmland away. I had nothing to do with a
Well, how did they
commercial.
find, how did they
Can I
find?
please answer, sir?
Sure.
It had nothing to do with a commercial developer approaching a private property owner and asking to buy the property. It had nothing to do with that.
But they had to come talk to you.
Eventually they did.
Yes. So,
But to finish my answer to your question, we did negotiate some provisions. We negotiated a new traffic circle at the intersection of Birmingham Road and North Pemberton Road. Fully bypassed around.
It's not dangerous, you don't even need it.
Excuse me.
And they're gonna build it 5
And
years.
and we also negotiated the permanent preservation of 52 acres, which is presently a radio antenna farm on one of the properties.
But see, when I read that, the lease is up on the antennas in 5 years. Do you really think these guys are gonna be around in 5 years?
Mr. Dewey, it's gonna take 5 years to do all this.
One already built for sale.
Yeah.
You'll be dead.
30-year pilot, it's passed to the next owner. Another smart one.
Is the agricultural advisory committee constituted and the members are appointed at this point?
As far as I'm aware, the members were appointed. I have no idea when they meet. I've had no communication with them. I don't even know who the chair of the agriculture.
Come on.
Sure, we know you're getting paid.
Well, I think we can find that out. I don't think it's a bad idea to get their.
That's how much he gets paid.
Oh, why would he talk to an agricultural?
Hold on, I have to step in. Daniel, I told you who the chair was, I asked you to send it to him. So that's, I'm not,
Is it Mr. Giberson?
yes.
Okay.
Because I can even resend the email that I sent to you. I don't know when I sent it, but I know I sent it,
Okay.
and you saw it.
Mr. Giberson, but I have no idea when they meet, how often they meet. I hear nothing from them.
That's your job. That's your job.
You're the boss.
That's your job to pay for.
You said earlier. This is specifically why the board was created.
Meeting room.
Article, you forget about the people in this town.
That's why it was a sneak meeting. You thought 2 people was gonna show up.
You think we're a bunch of dummies.
And everybody emailed and texted each other.
You're dirty.
Ridiculousness. This is what I was at Afghanistan
Given the
for
attendance
people
we've had at
like
all our
you.
meetings, how anybody could think that somebody thought they were gonna sneak this through, I mean, that's just ridiculous. We know you guys are paying well.
How about canceling the zoning board meeting, putting that right up there, let everybody think it's a abandoned warehouse 3 hours before the meeting? Just like you're trying to sneak the shit going on in the country house, right?
Oh, would you be in agreement with possibly tabling this until the AAC gets a chance to take a look at it? Or-
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to be able to table, I crossed out the number, 203-2024 at this point in time, until the Agriculture Advisory Committee has a chance to look at it.
I'll second. I'll second.
Can't look at us.
Wait, I'd like to make a comment first, please.
I'm sorry. Ms. McCartney, go ahead.
So nothing has been signed for this, right?
500,000.
This is the redevelopment agreement, so no, the contract has not been signed. They do have a pending application before the Township Planning Board.
It's gotta get past council and planning board, right?
Okay, I'm sorry, but Mrs. McCartney is trying to comment and I can't hear her. So if you can give her a moment. I hear her, all right. Elizabeth, if you could speak louder, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with, Josh, Mr. Ward. I recommend that the Agriculture Committee look at this before we can bring it back. I agree that we table, but I also would like to recommend that we have more transparent communication as to who's on the committee so that that information can go through, because, with miscommunication is, we lose trust in each other. So if we can try to mainstream our communication with that, maybe that would help with this.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Mr. Dewey,
Yes.
Ms. McCartney,
And just to confirm, we're voting to table this, right?
yes, this is the motion to table until the AAC has a chance to review it.
Yeah, so my vote is yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Dietrich.
Yes.
Now you look like a hero.
Pat you on the back.
Finally, resolution 2024,
We request that one be pulled.
Which one? 203? Both of them pulled?
okay, 204, 2024 is pulled off the agenda. Next is new business, purchases over $3,000. Real estate appraisal services, block 541, 543, which is called the Noble Contract, from James Hale and Associates, in a total amount of $7,500.
It wasn't.
Discussion by council. Go ahead, Mr. Wood.
How many acres is this?
Probably in the ballpark of 10 acres, I'm gonna say.
10 acres? Right. Is there water and sewer on it?
There is water and sewer available at the property,
On the property?
available to the property.
So why do we have to pay $7,500 for an appraisal? Where if you've got a lot that doesn't have sewer and water, it's worth this, and if you have a lot that's got sewer and water, it's worth 3 times as much.
Well, to refresh your memory, Mr. Dewey, we had a presentation in April from a company that is interested in developing this location, and there's no way you can, in good faith, for this location.
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, well, I'm just saying, but I don't, if my memory serves me correctly, they didn't do too good that night. Because I was definitely, I told him right to his face, if you wanted to build 50 houses, I might shake your hand, but I'm not 88 apartments and townhouses, I'm not in it. It's all a bunch of fools. If you wanna lift the town, you're not gonna do it with apartments.
So I'm not
3-story high
advocating for
ones, too.
apartments, but how many of your, well, I told you I would talk to him and he was agreeable to doing condos. At your suggestion, I spoke with him. He was agreeable to doing condos. Then your complaint was, well, then I don't want slumlords in there. So fair enough, I spoke with him again. I said, how about we do this? How about we limit the number of units that anybody can own to 2 in a building? To 2. That way somebody that wants to live in Pemberton in a new condominium can have a condominium for their mom, condominium for their uncle, condominium for their kid. And he was agreeable to that, sir.
I don't believe
He
that.
was agreeable to that.
Fool.
No,
These people.
we were all here. We heard it.
Downtown? How many businesses did you talk to downtown that said they wouldn't want another, I don't know, 300 to 500 customers within walking distance of their stores?
What stores?
Stores.
Oh, yeah, there's
I got
no-
power lines on that
There's no
road.
CVS, there's no AT&T,
Oh,
there's
they
no
got it all.
Walmart, there's no
Right on
McDonald's,
my
there's
bike.
no.
Let me tell you, if you guys knew how to run a town, you don't need rooftops. You got all the resources here where you can make stuff happen, but there's nobody intelligent enough to do it around here.
Then you got 3 lawyers sitting in here.
Remember that?
For like 40 or 50
Remember that?
years,
Yeah.
so,
Remember I fell?
it looked like,
Well,
I got
just the
paralyzed.
same old thing.
I was
just
paralyzed.
look at the town hall. It's
On
a
that
shame
road.
that Pinelands wasn't here when they sold the town out to P&M Homes, because they built half the houses that shouldn't even been built. So how did that make out for the town? I've been here. You haven't been here.
I agree with you.
I know, you can't ring the bell, but why should we tear our town up with
They
townhouses
shouldn't
and
be, they
apartments?
shouldn't be giving the lots away with newspapers.
We want to turn it to a city, that's
A
why.
lot of good
There's
people.
a lot of history.
You can lead the way to the other towns.
Yeah,
Ms. McCartney, you have a comment?
they want it to be
Yeah,
a city.
you know, listen, guys, we are all, we love this town. We have different.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Now, in terms of the team.
Show me your plot. You're not getting, you're not dying there.
I mean, there's people that live in our town as adults and raised our children and they lived in those houses, so, yeah, it's, you know.
Any excuse will do, Elizabeth.
Let's put our picture and really pick our battles here. Let's not say the town's going to shit like that, because there's a lot that we should.
Town's going to hell in a handbasket.
You said it, it's going to shit.
And it's because you vote yes to everything,
You said it.
just about.
No, I I didn't say that. That's how there's conveyance, that things are falling apart in your midst, and I don't agree with that.
It's
at all.
going to.
You need to control
Stop
it,
it.
we need to slow it down, but I grew up in those houses.
Well, then say
so
no.
whether
Then say
it's
no.
maybe in an apartment.
Are you staying here?
You'll
No,
never
they're
live
not
your
staying,
town
they're
with a
not
park.
They're moving to
I'm
California.
staying
They're all
here.
going to Florida.
Unfortunately,
I
my
heard-
kids
I heard.
decided not
Which
to stay
cemetery
here.
you got your plot in?
They're going to California.
But I'm staying here.
That's not what I heard.
Nice legacy you leaving for